Why you can't stop giving to others, even when you're running on empty yourself. There is a particular kind of tiredness that doesn't look like tiredness from the outside. It looks like capability, and it's often called strength. And the person carrying this strength, carrying this capability, is often the last one that anyone else thinks to check on. So if you are the person that other people rely on, the one who holds things together, who gives generously and asks very little in return, this video is for you. And what I want to offer you today is not gratitude for how much you give. It is rather, I want to ask you a question. Where is this giving actually coming from? So let's describe a reality of your life. You are so good at giving. You are so good at taking care of your partner, of your kids, of your colleagues, of your friends, of any kind of business or any kind of people who need support and things that need managing in a caring way. And it does look like generosity. And in many ways, it really is. But if you look a bit deeper into yourself or into the situations, there's something almost like compulsory about it. It's like it comes without you even deciding to do this. You start moving before you made a conscious decision. It's like catching something when it starts to fall. You don't think of it, you just do it. And in many ways, this constant giving doesn't feel even like a conscious choice. It just feels something that comes so natural to you. And there is a cost that stays invisible. Because what is happening here has a name in archetypal psychology. It's the shadow pattern of the Empress archetype. The Empress archetype is the archetype of nourishment, abundance, of life that gives freely. In her fullness, this archetypal pattern pours from overflow, from being rooted, rested, and replenished. This archetype can give to others. But when this archetypal pattern moves into shadow, it is a flow that is one directional. The nourishment inwards doesn't come, and the energy keeps on running outwards to others, to the world around you. And this pattern usually forms early in our life. In a child who learned that being useful, caring, and needed was what gave them meaning, what made them feel loved and important and seen by others. So this started to become a part of who this person was, part of the operating system. They grow up to be somebody who is always there for others. And what is the cost of this? It's the exhaustion. It's this resentment that builds up gradually when your needs are never met or in focus and everything is flowing towards others. There is a distance between how capable you appear and how secretly depleted you feel. Because this pattern is run by a hidden fear that is very often even not consciously acknowledged. There is a fear that if I start putting myself first, if I start to pay really attention to my needs, there will be not enough for others. And it means that I am a selfish person, that I'm not valuable anymore, and I'm not seen or cherished by others because I'm not giving enough. And thinking of how this pattern got started in the childhood, it makes sense. But this logic is not the truth of this archetype, of this full pattern of nourishment. Because nourishment needs to flow to both directions. It needs to flow inward and then it can move outwards. If you get replenished, there is not less to give to others, there is actually more. And you are not taking from others when you receive. Instead, you are becoming a source that doesn't run dry. So I'm inviting you to do a practice today, if you sense this pattern in yourself. The next time somebody needs something, Maybe a request lands or somebody looks in trouble and you have this urge to move and help and be there for the other. Take one pause before you do that and ask yourself, how full am I right now? What is the reality I am in before I start to give to others? Am I rested? Do I have enough resources for myself to be in balance while doing that? You don't even need to change what happens next after you take that pause, but just taking that moment to turn your gaze inwards instead of outwards is where a shift starts to begin. So, what is the goal of this archetypal pattern? What is the potential? Because this pattern doesn't form in people who have nothing to give. It forms in people who have an extraordinary capacity for nourishment. This is how it got started. You took on this role, this ability, because you have this enormous abundance inside you, but it's just been flowing in just one direction. And this is what needs to be turned around and made complete. Because the Empress archetype that is fully empowered is somebody so rooted in their own abundance who are receiving as naturally as they are giving. And that brings a sense of harmony and fullness and abundance that can also flow outwards. So, if what I've described today feels familiar, I want you to invite you to take the Shadow Archetypes quiz. You can find the link in the description. It takes just 5 to 10 minutes and it will show you which of the 5 archetypal shadow patterns that are very common but very rarely acknowledged is most active in your life right now, running your life without you even noticing it, and where is the potential for turning this around into a resource instead of depletion.